Hello, it's nice to see you found your way back for more Explore Tulsa.
Stevie, have you ever started your own business?
Oh yeah, a couple of different times.
Oh, what was one of your favorites?
The Comedy Defensive Driving School. I'd help people remember how to be better drivers while telling them a whole bunch of jokes.
Yeah, and what was the hardest thing about starting that business? Coming up with enough jokes?
Hardy har. No, deciding if it could work and finding the money.
Well, if you were starting it today, you could turn to Mike Loinger and get great guidance from his team at i2E.
Friday at 5 for most corporate types. You flick off the light, turn off your computer, and Monday morning you come back and start all over. In the entrepreneurship world, that doesn't exist. I forget what baseball player said, hit them where they ain't. But we try and be in places that other people aren't, because there's no sense for us to be working to provide capital and investment in spaces like oil and gas or retail or real estate or things like that, where you have banks and other financial investors that are very knowledgeable in that space, and there's just a lot of capital. So the investments that we make, or even the work that we do with client companies, tends to be centered around what I would say sort of IT technology, and then life sciences more broadly, that can include pharmaceuticals, medical devices, medical services, and each of those probably make up a little over 1/3 of our activity, and then the other 1/3 to 20% is sort of all other. So that can be manufacturing, it can be materials, it can be things of that sort. When you talk about success stories at i2E, they aren't household names of companies that people would know. We see success in different ways in terms of market penetration, in terms of job growth. We've got a portfolio company that we've invested in Oklahoma City by the name of We Go Look. Well, their job growth, I think they're in the 70 to 80 employees at this point, over the last 12 months has been truly, I don't know the exact numbers statewide, but I'd put it probably top 10 in terms of certainly the percentage job growth within the company, but even just the real job growth. So they're doing really well. I work really closely with i2E, and that's a company that has been through a number of transitions. We feel good about where they are. They've really refined their products. Safety in the biking space, whether it's recreational or whether you're using your bike to get from home to work, which is more commonplace, both with helmet manufacturers and bike manufacturers and consumers, is becoming more and more important. Too often we feel like entrepreneurs come out with their first generation, their prototype, or even first generation of their product, and they feel like they're one and done. Like, here we are, we've got it. The reality is product iteration is almost mandatory, whether that's because of form factor or customer acceptance or cost or otherwise. You sort of continually iterate around that, and they've certainly done that. And I think in the last year, certainly in the last 9 months, they've made a lot of progress. So they had a cool product. They kept working, and I think they have an even better product today. So it feels really good. Obviously, when I get home at the end of the day, it's hard. I have young kids, 6, 5, and 1. And so, you go home and you're like, well, what do you do, Dad? I'm a teacher, or I'm a lawyer, or I'm a doctor. And they said, well, what do you do, Dad? And I said, well, I'm a farmer. I farm new companies. I plant the seeds, I fertilize the soil, I nurture it, I make sure that the sun's shining on it, and make sure that the seeds don't come undone. And that's really, I just thought of that one day with the kids, and it's true.